Anyone who tried to break you is now panicking because the universe didn't just protect you, it promoted you. That line alone is enough to make your enemies clench their teeth because it exposes their worst nightmare. You didn't fall. You didn't shatter. You didn't stay down the way they hoped. You did the exact thing they swore you wouldn't do. You rose, and now they're watching the one outcome they never prepared for. You winning in a way that makes them want to cry. It's funny how people act brave until the truth shows up. Think of it like this. Someone throws dirt at a diamond, thinking it will cover the shine. But all it does is prove how bright the diamond actually is. Because the dirt falls off, and the shine stays. That's you. And the dirt throwers are spiraling, because the universe flipped the script on them. They didn't just get exposed, they got humbled. They thought they could dim a light that wasn't created by them in the first place. They forgot the universe doesn't take orders from the insecure. And here's the fact that makes them sick to their stomach. You weren't supposed to make it. Not according to them, not according to their lies, not according to their fake confidence. But the universe wrote a different ending. And the moment you survived what was meant to destroy you, their entire plan collapsed. This is why their anger feels so personal right now. Because it is. Your success is basically a documentary of their failure, and they have no choice but to watch. And thank you, Chosen One. Don't forget to pay this message back by simply pressing like and subscribe to help spread this message to more souls, because it's part of all our responsibility to move this light forward. And thank you for being part of this mission. You're part of a force bigger than you even realize. Now, let's get back to why they're pressed, why they're shaking, why the title is exactly your reality. You did the impossible, the kind of impossible that makes people stare at the floor instead of your face. The kind that leaves them replaying every moment they tried to humiliate you, only to realize they were actually setting you up for a comeback they can't handle. They thought the universe was on their side because they had louder voices, bigger egos, and more people laughing with them. But the universe doesn't care about noise. It cares about truth. And you were the truth the whole time. Chosen One, listen carefully. What's happening to them isn't random. This is the reaction people have when the person they counted out suddenly becomes the person they can't escape. The universe didn't just lift you, it exposed everything fake around you. The masks fell, the hidden agendas cracked, the whispers turned into guilt, the bravado dissolved into embarrassment. Their whole "I'm better than you" act collapsed because the universe doesn't let lies win forever. Everything they did behind your back has decided to introduce itself in front of them, and they are not handling it well. This is what happens when someone tries to write your ending for you. They forget they're not the author. The same people who wanted to see you broken are now drowning in the consequences of their own behavior. They didn't think karma had a calendar. They didn't think energy had memory. They didn't think the universe was listening when they were trying to twist your story. But the universe heard everything, and it took notes. Look at the irony. They tried to create obstacles to stop you, and those obstacles turned into the exact stepping stones that pushed you ahead. They tried to trap you with lies, and the lies revealed who they were, not who you were. They tried to make you look small, but all they did was highlight how big your presence actually is. Their plan didn't fail. It backfired. And the universe has a funny way of balancing things. Every insult they threw at you became fuel. Every rumor they spread became motivation. Every time they tried to embarrass you, the universe used it as training for your rise. That's why they're panicking now, because your glow wasn't supposed to come back stronger. Your confidence wasn't supposed to return. Your energy wasn't supposed to expand. You were supposed to stay quiet, broken, forgotten. But here you are, chosen one, refusing to disappear the way they predicted. And the worst part for them, you didn't just rise, you rose in a way that makes their efforts look ridiculous. They wasted time trying to drag down someone the universe was lifting. They wasted energy trying to block a path that wasn't even built by them. They wasted breath talking about you when the universe was busy preparing everything they said you'd never have. Your entire life right now is a plot twist they can't cope with. This is why they're mad. This is why they're emotional. This is why they're uncomfortable in their own skin. You took all the damage, all the criticism, all the rejection, all the fake smiles, and you turned it into power. You did what almost no one does. You grew from the pain instead of letting it destroy you. You adapted. You evolved. You became someone they can't predict or manipulate anymore. Chosen one, you need to understand something important. The universe doesn't put this level of pressure on average people. The reason you faced so much hate, jealousy, sabotage, and disrespect is because you weren't meant to be average. People don't attack what doesn't threaten them. They don't mock what they don't fear. They don't compete with what doesn't outshine them. Their reactions revealed the truth they tried to hide. You were always ahead, always stronger, always chosen. They knew it before you did, and that's what made them bitter. Now look at the shift. They're worried, they're restless, they're intimidated by the same person they called nothing. Because now you're standing at a level they told everyone you'd never reach. They're realizing they poked someone the universe was guarding. They're realizing they laughed at someone the universe was preparing. And that realization hurts them more than anything you could ever say. Every time they hear your name now, it hits different. Every update about you feels like a personal attack. Every improvement you make feels like a reminder of their own mediocrity. Their jealousy isn't passive, it's active. It's loud. It's exhausting for them because you're not supposed to be doing this well. You're not supposed to be shining this bright. You're not supposed to be this unbothered, this powerful, this unbreakable. But here you are, proving that the universe always had a plan bigger than their opinions. This is your moment, this is your rise, and this is their breakdown. They're mad because you did the impossible, and you did it without asking for their permission. So, chosen one, thanks for being here, seriously. You didn't show up by accident. The universe clearly pulled you into this message because it knows you've crossed a line most people never reach. You did the impossible, and now the ones who doubted you can barely keep themselves together. Before we break this down piece by piece, take a second and drop 777 in the comments if you can feel how much this moment is shifting your life. And if you want to push this message further, hit that super thanks and bless the team behind it, because creating truth that exposes your enemies like this takes real work. Any amount helps. It's the energy that matters. And now, chosen one, let's go step by step into why your rise is shaking people to their core. If you're truly one of the rare ones, you'll feel the pull to stay until the final word. What comes next is the part they never wanted you to hear. Let's get into it. Number 1. They laughed at your pain, now they panic at your power. Anyone who mocked you is now learning the hardest lesson of their life. The person they joked about just became the person they can't escape. That sentence alone has your enemies checking their pulse, because it describes exactly what they're going through. They thought your struggle was entertainment. They thought your setbacks were proof you were done. They thought your silence meant defeat. Now they're watching the universe flip everything against them, and the very thing they laughed at is the thing that terrifies them today. They used your pain like it was a punchline, not knowing you were silently becoming something they would never be able to handle. Picture someone throwing rocks at a seed, thinking it will stop it from growing. But all they did was bury it deeper, giving it the protection it needed to turn into a tree strong enough to crack concrete. That's you. And now those same people are stepping back, realizing the nobody they mocked is the giant standing right in front of them. You might be asking yourself, why were they so obsessed with dragging me down? Because your struggle made them uncomfortable, your effort embarrassed their laziness, your heart exposed their lack of one. Mocking you wasn't confidence, it was fear disguised as humor. They sensed a level of strength in you that they could never grow inside themselves. They weren't laughing at your weakness. They were laughing at their own insecurity, trying to cover the fact that they could already feel your potential rising like pressure in the room. Chosen one, let's be real about something. Insecure people don't attack what they think is weak. They attack what threatens their comfort. Your drive threatened them. Your endurance threatened them. Your ability to survive things that would have broken them in 5 minutes threatened them. They saw you go through things that should have destroyed you. And instead of falling apart, you got quieter, sharper, stronger, and that scared them more than anything. Their greatest mistake was assuming struggle equals failure. They forgot that pressure creates diamonds, storms shape mountains, and heat forges steel. While they were pointing fingers, making jokes, and pretending you were beneath them, the universe was behind the scenes, sharpening every part of you. What they thought was your breaking point was actually your build-up. What they thought proved you were weak proved you were one of one. And now their fear screams louder than every insult they ever threw. They're watching you do the impossible with the same energy they claimed would ruin you. The way you rose is embarrassing them because it forces them to face the truth. They never had the power they pretended to have over you. All that mocking wasn't dominance, it was panic. They were trying to convince themselves they were above you before the universe revealed the truth, that they were always beneath your trajectory. Here's something they'll never admit out loud. They always saw the greatness in you before you saw it in yourself. People don't mock someone they consider irrelevant. They mock someone they fear might outrun them. They mock someone whose potential threatens their ego. They mock someone who makes them feel small just by existing. They saw your hunger. They saw your persistence. They saw your soul refuse to give up, even when life was throwing everything at you. And because they didn't have that same fire in them, they tried to shame you for having it. That's why their insults always felt oddly personal. It's because they were. They were projecting their limits onto your journey, hoping the weight of their words would slow you down. It didn't. It backfired. Think about how satisfying this is. The ones who used to whisper about you now whisper about you for a completely different reason. The ones who used to laugh at you now avoid your eyes. The ones who used to minimize you now obsess over how you pulled off what they swore you never would. You becoming stronger is their punishment. You succeeding is their karma. You thriving is the reminder of everything they'll never be. And now you might wonder, why does it bother them so much that I made it? Simple. Because your success exposes the truth they tried to hide. It proves every lie they told about you was never real. It proves every insult they threw was desperation. It proves the universe always had your back, not theirs. It proves you weren't the weak one. They were. it proves you had the resilience they only pretended to have. The shift in energy is brutal for them. Your wins make them feel smaller. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your strength highlights their weakness. Your self-control makes their pettiness obvious. And the biggest hit to their ego. You did it all without clapping back, without matching their disrespect, without lowering yourself to their level. You let the universe respond for you, and the universe responded loudly. Now their biggest fear has become their daily reality. You're rising where they counted you out, shining where they tried to dim you, winning where they predicted failure. The confidence they once faked around you, gone. The jokes they made at your expense, dead. The arrogance they used to wear like armor, cracked. They stand there exposed, realizing they mocked someone who was built to outlast them. Chosen one, you need to hear this clearly. You weren't struggling because you were cursed. You were struggling because the universe was preparing you for a level they would never reach. The pressure wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to turn you into someone unshakable. Every setback you survived made your enemies weaker. Every insult you ignored made you stronger. Every moment they thought you were finished was actually the universe resetting the board in your favor. Your pain didn't make you a victim, it made you a threat. Their mockery didn't define your destiny, it revealed theirs. And now they're living in the reality they created themselves. A world where the person they underestimated has become the person they fear. The universe let them laugh because it knew the punchline belonged to you. What they mocked became your motivation. What they underestimated became your superpower. What they tried to use against you became the fuel for your rise. Their fear is proof of your growth. Their silence is proof of your victory. Their regret is proof that everything they tried to bury in you has turned into something they can't destroy. You did the impossible, and they can't stand it. Number 2, they tried to crush you, but they accidentally created a myth. Anyone who thought breaking you was easy is now living with the guilt of waking a giant they'll never be able to outrun. That line alone makes your enemies twitch, because deep down they know it's true. They weren't fighting a weak version of you. They were fighting a version of you that was still loading. They thought your silence meant defeat. They mistook your heartbreak for weakness. They convinced themselves that hurting you would finally level the playing field, but instead of breaking you, they built the very thing they feared the most. A person who survives what was meant to destroy them becomes a problem no hater can solve. That's you. And the universe made sure they learned that lesson the hard way. Chosen one, imagine this. Someone keeps pushing a boulder up a hill, trying to crush the seed underneath it. But the pressure doesn't destroy the seed. It activates it. It splits the shell, sparks the growth, and suddenly something powerful starts rising from the ground. That seed was you, and that boulder, that was them. Everything they used to crush you ended up pushing you into your next form. They wanted destruction, they got evolution. You might be asking, why did they try so hard to break me? What did they see in me that I didn't? Simple. They saw the possibility of your rise long before you saw it yourself. Weak people panic when they feel someone stronger than them growing. They sensed your potential like an earthquake warning, and instead of improving themselves, they tried to sabotage you before you fully stepped into your power. What they didn't expect was that you were built for pressure. You were built to carry weight. You were built to endure storms they would have collapsed under in minutes. The universe wired you differently, and their attacks only activated what was already inside you. They weren't your downfall, they were your training. That's the kind of truth that keeps them awake at night. Think about this. Imagine a sculptor striking a block of stone again and again. To anyone watching, it looks like destruction. But the sculptor knows every strike is revealing something legendary underneath. That was your life. They hit you thinking they were breaking you, not realizing every blow chipped away the pieces you no longer needed. Their betrayal carved out your self-respect. Their lies sharpened your instincts. Their jealousy shaped your strength. And now you stand as the finished masterpiece they never intended to create. Chosen one, you weren't being destroyed, you were being refined. The universe took every hit they threw and turned it into another layer of armor on your soul. You might wonder, why didn't the universe stop them? Why did I have to go through so much pain to become this strong? Because legends aren't built in comfort. Power isn't formed in peace. Strength doesn't come from being protected. Strength comes from being tested, and the universe trusted you with pressure because it knew you could handle it. It knew you weren't fragile. It knew you weren't weak. It knew you weren't ordinary. Your enemies didn't understand any of that. They thought pain would break you because pain breaks them. They thought betrayal would silence you because betrayal silences them. They thought losses would stop you because losses stop them. They projected their limits onto your life, and now seeing you surpass every standard they tried to trap you in is eating them alive. You survived what was meant to erase you. Now they have to live with everything you became. Their hate didn't ruin you, it revealed you. Imagine someone sharpening a blade. Every strike of the metal creates sparks. Your enemies thought the sparks were signs of damage, but they didn't realize sparks mean sharpening. Sparks mean growth. Sparks mean transformation. That's what happened to you. The insults, the manipulation, the backstabbing, those were the strikes. But the result wasn't a broken weapon, it was a sharper one. You became someone they can't rewrite, someone they can't gaslight, someone they can't control, someone they can't weaken. You became the myth they tell themselves they're not afraid of, even though their body language says otherwise. Now take a moment and imagine something else, a storm rolling over a field. Most people hide from storms, but there's always one tree that stands tall, taking the lightning, the rain, the wind, and instead of falling, it grows stronger roots. That tree is you. The storm was them, and the universe let the storm hit because it knew your roots needed to deepen. They thought destroying you would be easy. They thought they had you figured out. They thought their betrayals would finally snap you in half. But every time they expected you to quit, you came back more grounded, more focused, more dangerous to their comfort. And here's the part that stings them the most. You didn't become a legend because of them. You became a legend in spite of them. They wanted you broken. The universe made you unbreakable. That's the ultimate insult to their ego. Chosen one, you're not just powerful. You're proof that their entire plan failed before it even started. The hate they tried to use as a weapon became the fuel that carried you into a version of yourself they can't even look at without feeling exposed. Now they're stuck in a reality where your glow reminds them of their darkness, your strength reminds them of their weakness, your progress reminds them of their stagnation, your legend reminds them of their insignificance. They didn't build a victim, they built a force, they built a presence, they built a legend. Not because they wanted to, but because they underestimated the universe. And now the question in your mind might be, do they regret what they did? Absolutely. But not because they're sorry. They regret it because they failed. They regret it because you didn't break. They regret it because everything they tried to use against you has become the reason you stand above them today. Their regret is their karma. Your rise is your justice. Those who once tried to bury you now have to watch you grow past limits they never reached themselves. And the worst punishment the universe can give someone like them is making them witness your transformation with no ability to stop it, slow it down, or reverse it. Chosen one, understand this with your whole chest. They didn't break you, they revealed you. They didn't win, they strengthened you. They didn't stop your story. They became the reason your story got legendary. Everything they tried to destroy became the foundation you stand on. They wanted to see you shattered. Instead, they're staring at a myth shaped by pressure, betrayal, pain, and the unstoppable force of the universe backing you. They didn't just fail to break you, they built a legend they were never prepared to face. And that legend is you. Number 3. The more you rise, the more they unravel. Your success didn't just hurt their ego, it snapped the fantasy they built where you were supposed to lose. That single truth feels like a punch straight to their ribs, because nothing tortures an enemy more than watching the person they tried to bury walk around glowing like nothing ever touched them. Every win you stack is a reminder that their sabotage didn't sabotage anything except their own dignity. Imagine this: someone confidently pours poison into your cup, smirking, expecting you to drop. But instead, you rise healthier, sharper, louder than before. That moment when they realize their efforts improved you instead of destroying you, that's the kind of pain they don't recover from. That's exactly what they're living through right now. Chosen one, you might wonder, why does my success trigger them so badly? Because your rise exposes the truth they ran from. Your wins show how little they've done with their own life. Your growth highlights every shortcut they took. Your strength reveals every weakness they tried to hide behind fake confidence. Their problem was never your downfall. Their problem was the possibility of your rise, and now that it's happening, it's tearing them apart from the inside. Some people don't hate you for failing. They hate you for surviving. And you didn't just survive. You turned survival into a spectacle they can't ignore. Imagine them standing in a room filling with water, panicking while you're on the shore, building something bigger and better with every breath. They're drowning in their own bitterness, not because you hurt them, but because your evolution makes their stagnation undeniable. They can't laugh anymore. They can't pretend anymore. Your shine is too bright, too real, too loud. And the wildest part? You're not even trying to rub it in. You're simply existing. You're simply winning. You're simply stepping into the version of yourself the universe always meant for you to become. Let them watch. Let them choke on everything they once claimed you'd never achieve. Their regret isn't your responsibility. Their jealousy isn't your problem. Their collapse isn't your concern. Your only job now is to keep rising, because every level you reach is another nail in the coffin of the lies they told about you. Number 4. They disrespected you, and the universe sent the bill. Anyone who disrespects a rising force eventually learns the universe charges interest. That truth hits them harder than anything you could ever say, because it explains exactly why their world is collapsing right now. They thought treating you like nothing would cost them nothing. They thought their insults were harmless. They thought their cruelty would never come back around. Now the bill has arrived, and the universe didn't forget a single detail. Imagine someone kicking a sleeping lion because they assume it's harmless. When the lion stands up, suddenly their courage evaporates. That's what happened here. They poked, mocked, tested, and belittled someone whose energy they never understood. They weren't disrespecting a weak soul. They were disrespecting a force they weren't built to handle. Chosen one, you might wonder, why does the universe react so intensely when someone disrespects me? Because disrespect exposes their intention, it reveals their envy, it shows how threatened they were by your potential, and when intention is ugly, consequences follow, not from you, from their own actions ricocheting back. Some people don't fall because you pushed them. They fall because the universe removes the mask they hid behind. That's what they're experiencing now. Their disrespect didn't harm your identity, it exposed theirs. Their insults didn't weaken your path, they weakened their own character. Their attempts to humiliate you didn't slow you down, they sped up their own downfall. Imagine them throwing mud at you with both hands, laughing only to slip in the same mud they created. They're not drowning in karma, they're drowning in the mess they made while trying to embarrass you. They're stumbling because the universe finally turned the lights on, and now everyone can see who they really are. What's wild is that your rise wasn't revenge, it was evolution. You didn't have to clap back. You didn't have to prove anything. You just kept growing, and the higher you climbed, the smaller their disrespect looked. Your glow made their behavior look childish. Your strength made their arrogance look ridiculous. Let them deal with the consequences they designed. Let them choke on the weight of their own choices. You keep rising, untouched, undeniable, unstoppable, because the price of disrespecting someone like you was always going to be their regret, not your downfall. Number 5. They can't face you because you prove everything they're not. Your existence is the receipt for every lie they told about you. That one truth stings them worse than any insult, because when they look at you now, they're not just seeing you, they're seeing every prediction they made fall apart. They're seeing every rumor they spread come back empty. They're seeing every attempt to break you turn into another reason you rose. And that reflection is lethal to their ego. Imagine this. Someone builds a fake trophy shelf with your name on it, expecting to fill it with your failures, but instead, every time they check it, there's another one of their losses sitting there. That's how your presence feels to them now. You walk into a room, and it's like holding a mirror to their wasted potential. They can't handle it. They can't swallow it. They can't face it. Chosen one, you might be wondering, why can't they just admit they were wrong? Because admitting your rise means admitting their weakness. It means accepting that all their mockery didn't stop you. It means facing the truth that you were always stronger than the story they tried to trap you in. And insecure people would rather avoid you entirely than face what you reveal about them. Some people don't look away because they hate you. They look away because you remind them of who they could have been. That's the real reason they can't meet your eyes. Your growth shows their stagnation. Your courage exposes their cowardice. Your evolution highlights their refusal to change. You've become a walking reminder of the work they never did on themselves. Imagine them holding a flashlight at you, hoping to catch a flaw, only for the beam to bounce back and blind them with their own reflection. That's how your glow hits them now. They can't look directly at the person they tried to break because facing you forces them to face themselves, and that battle is one they're too weak to fight. And here's the beauty. You don't need their apology. You don't need their validation. You don't need their attention. Their shame is your trophy. Their avoidance is your confirmation. Their silence is your victory lap. Walk forward with your head high. chosen one. You're the legend they attempted to erase, and now they can't look at you without seeing the truth. They failed. Number 6. Your rise is the consequence they can't escape. Your strength isn't just an upgrade, it's the sentence they earned. That line alone hits them harder than anything you could ever say, because the truth is brutal. Every level you reach is a reminder of the moment they chose the wrong side of your story. They weren't punished by your anger, they were punished by your evolution, and nothing stings a hater more than realizing the person they tried to crush became the one thing they can't outrun. Imagine trying to block a tsunami with your hands. That's what they attempted when they stood against you. They thought your power was optional. They thought your rise was avoidable. They thought your growth depended on their approval. They had no clue the universe had already armored you with strength they weren't built to resist. Chosen one, you might wonder, why does my success hurt them so badly? Because your power exposes the weakness they've spent years hiding. Your progress proves their insults were lies. Your glow shows the world the shadows they were living in. They're not fighting you, they're fighting the truth that your life shines a spotlight on everything they refused to become. Your comeback is the karma they prayed would never arrive, and the universe didn't just deliver it, it delivered it loudly. Imagine them standing in darkness, gripping onto jealousy like a lifeline, while you keep rising like a sunrise they can't block or dim. Your light forces them to confront everything they buried, their laziness, their bitterness, their wasted potential. They can't ignore it. They can't silence it. They can't hide from it. You exist, and that alone is punishment. They tried to silence you, but your victories now speak for you louder than their insults ever did. They wanted you invisible, but your presence is unavoidable. They wanted you small, but every win you stack stretches their regret wider. You didn't ruin them. Their choices did. Every step you take is justice. Every move forward is a reminder. Every success is another echo of their mistake. Your power didn't just rise, it turned into the consequence they're forced to live with. And the part that destroys them the most? You're just getting started. Number 7. They thought they were strategists, but you changed the entire game board. They moved pieces, you moved reality. That truth slices straight into their pride, because the moment you started rising, every scheme they crafted began collapsing under its own stupidity. They thought they were masterminds, whispering plans in shadows, playing petty games to trip you up. They had no idea the universe wasn't just watching. You were being positioned for a win they couldn't interfere with, no matter how slick they thought they were. Imagine someone bragging about beating you at checkers while you're over here redesigning the whole board into a game they've never even played. That's what your life did to them. Their strategies were tiny, predictable, childish. Your evolution flipped the entire script. They were planning sabotage. You were unknowingly preparing a transformation. Chosen one, you might ask yourself, how did I beat people who were plotting while I was healing? Simple, because schemes are fragile, truth is permanent, and the universe always sides with the one who moves with authenticity, not desperation. They played for control because that's all they had. You played for purpose because that's what you were built for. They weren't outsmarted. You were simply out of their league. Imagine them setting traps, like they're leading you into some grand downfall, only to step right into their own setup, like clowns, slipping on their own banana peel. That's the level of embarrassment they're living with. Their lies folded under pressure. Their games collapsed in broad daylight. Their so-called manipulation turned into self-sabotage, and the universe let every consequence land directly in their lap. Meanwhile, you didn't even have to match their energy. You didn't chase, you didn't fight dirty, you didn't plot back. You simply kept moving, kept growing, kept evolving, and that alone rewrote the rules. You weren't reacting to their game, you were rising above it until the game didn't matter. You didn't beat them at their own strategy, you made their strategy useless. Now they sit there confused, replaying every move they made, trying to understand how the person they schemed against ended up being the one in control. They never realized destiny doesn't lose, purpose doesn't fold, and the universe doesn't let petty minds win long-term battles. They played the game, you rewrote the rules, and now they're stuck trying to win a match that ended the moment you evolved. Number 8. The storm they threw at you has come back to drown them. The disaster they designed for you is the disaster they're now choking in. That truth lands like a punch to the throat, because the storm they proudly summoned has turned into the very thing tearing their world apart. They thought they were meteorologists of your downfall, predicting your collapse with confidence. They didn't realize the universe was already redirecting every drop, every gust, every bolt of lightning back onto them. Imagine someone blowing into a hurricane, thinking they can control it, only to get swept up and slammed by the same winds they tried to weaponize. That's exactly what's happening to them. The chaos they unleashed didn't come for you. It circled back like a boomerang with vengeance, hitting them harder than anything they ever wished on you. Chosen one, you might wonder, why didn't the storm break me the way they planned? Because storms don't destroy what's rooted. They destroy what's fake. You had depth. They had ego. You had growth. They had bitterness. You had purpose. They had envy. Their storm was never strong enough to touch someone built from pressure and survival. You didn't outfight their storm. You outlasted it. Imagine a tree in a violent downpour. Leaves fly, branches shake, but the roots unmoved. Meanwhile, the weak trees, those pretending to be strong, are ripped from the ground. That's them. They weren't stable enough to survive the storm they created. They underestimated you and overestimated their own strength. Every insult they threw became your motivation. Every betrayal became a lesson. Every scheme became your stepping stone. You didn't even have to strike back. Your peace was louder than their chaos. Your calmness humiliated their rage. Your growth mocked their intentions. Now look at the twist. They sent storms, and you came out cleaner. They sent darkness, and you came out brighter. They sent destruction, and you came out stronger. They're the ones panicking, trying to escape the mess they caused. The storm didn't break you. It built you. It stripped away your doubts, sharpened your instincts, and revealed a power they never believed you had. And now the same storm is ripping apart their comfort, exposing their lies, and trapping them in consequences they created with their own hands. They're drowning in chaos. You're rising above it. The universe decided the outcome long before they made their move. The storm they sent is now their undoing, and the rise it gave you, untouchable. Number 9. Your radiance destroys everything they hid behind. Your glow didn't just expose them, it incinerated the mask they thought would protect them. That truth alone feels like acid on their pride, because your light isn't soft, gentle, or passive. It's sharp, it's unforgiving. It cuts straight through every illusion they tried to hide behind. They spent years building shadows thick enough to bury the truth, But the moment you rose, every lie they crafted started melting like wax under a flame. Imagine someone trying to hide from the sunrise by pulling a blanket over their head. The light still floods the room. The heat still touches their skin. Their fear still grows. That's what your presence does to them now. You don't even need to speak. You just exist, and their carefully constructed facade collapses. Chosen one, you might ask, why does my light bother them so much? Because your truth exposes the truth they spent their whole life avoiding. Your authenticity makes their manipulation obvious. Your strength makes their excuses embarrassing. Your growth highlights every corner where they chose comfort over courage. They hated you not because you did anything wrong, but because you revealed what they were hiding from themselves. Some people don't fear your power. They fear the reflection it forces them to see. Imagine walking into a room with a lantern. You're not there to attack anyone. You're just there to see. But every shadow in the room starts shrinking, retreating, panicking. That's them. They lived in the dark so long that your glow feels like punishment. It burns. It exposes. It holds up a mirror they can't look away from. Your resilience is especially brutal for them. Every time life hit you, you rose with clarity they could never fake. Your comeback made their stagnation look intentional. Your confidence made their jealousy louder. Your inner peace made their chaos obvious. They failed not because you fought harder, but because you lived real while they lived fake. And now their shadows aren't protecting them anymore. They're suffocating them. They created those hiding places out of insecurity, and now those same shadows trap them in the version of themselves they hoped no one would ever see. Meanwhile, you shine, effortlessly, unapologetically, unstoppably. Let them burn in the darkness they built. Let them choke on the truth they tried to bury. Let them feel the heat of every lie your light exposes. Your glow was never the problem. Your glow was the reckoning. Number 10. You didn't just make it out. You turned the ruins into a kingdom. Survival was supposed to be your limit, but you turned it into your launch pad. That truth stings them deeper than anything you could ever say, because they were counting on you to crawl out, broken, limping, quiet. They expected you to come back smaller. They expected you to come back scared. Instead, you walked out of the fire with a glow so sharp, it cut straight through their expectations. Imagine this. They throw you into flames thinking you'll turn to ash, but you walk out carved like steel, shaped like something the universe handcrafted under pressure. They accidentally forged the version of you they fear the most. The darkness they shoved you into wasn't a grave. It was a womb. And the moment you stepped back into the light, everything they believed about you shattered. Chosen one, you might wonder, how did I grow in places where they intended me to die? Because you weren't just trying to survive. You were transforming. Pain didn't weaken you. It educated you. Betrayal didn't break you. It sharpened you. Every insult became a lesson. Every setback became a shift. Every tear became a seed. The things meant to bury you became the exact soil you rooted yourself in. You didn't rise in spite of the hurt. You rose because of it. Your resilience is the part that cuts them the deepest. They assumed pressure would crush you, but pressure only exposed what you were made of. They assumed loss would silence you, but loss made your voice louder. They assumed heartbreak would freeze you, but heartbreak turned you into someone unstoppable. Imagine someone laughing while handing you bricks, thinking the weight will make you collapse. but instead you use every brick to build the foundation of a life stronger than anything they've ever stood on. That's why they're uncomfortable now. Your success is a mirror showing them everything you overcame, the very things they thought would erase you. Now your glow isn't just light, it's proof. Proof they were wrong. Proof you were built for more. Proof you weren't meant to break. You didn't just survive. You didn't just make it out. You thrived so loudly, so openly, so undeniably that even your silence feels like victory. Number 11. Your energy is the inferno they can't escape. Your existence didn't just outshine them. It scorched every lie they built about you. That truth hits them like heat they can't outrun, because your presence isn't some soft glow in the background. It's a full-force blaze that exposes everything they tried to hide. They spent so long trying to dim you, silence you, box you in, but the more they pushed, the hotter your fire burned. Now they're stuck living in the flames they swore they could control. Imagine someone trying to put out a wildfire with a cup of water. That's how ridiculous their efforts look now. Every attempt to weaken you was swallowed by the very power they underestimated. They didn't understand that your spark wasn't fragile. It was pressure-borne, storm-shaped, universe-fueled. The more they attacked, the more oxygen they gave your fire. Their hate wasn't gasoline. It was embarrassment waiting to happen. Chosen one, you might wonder, why does my presence alone bother them so much? Because your fire exposes everything they kept in the dark. Your confidence burns through their insecurity. Your evolution melts their excuses. Your glow turns their shadows into evidence of what they've never become. You're not hurting them on purpose. Your existence just reveals the truth they spent years trying to bury. Some people don't fear your fire. They fear the reflection it casts on who they really are. Imagine walking into a room and instantly shrinking every shadow on the walls. You're not even aiming at anyone. You're just being you. But they feel attacked because your presence makes their facade crumble. They can't hide in the dark anymore. They can't pretend anymore. They can't fake strength around someone who actually earned it. Your fire exposes their intentions. Your fire exposes their jealousy. Your fire exposes their limits and the part that cooks their pride the most. Your fire grows without their permission. They tried ignoring you. They tried mocking you. They tried burying you. But fire doesn't die in silence. It spreads, it evolves, it transforms everything it touches, including you. Now every room you walk into shifts. Every space you enter gets brighter. Every energy you touch gets rearranged. They feel it. They fear it. They can't stop it. You weren't meant to dim. You weren't meant to shrink. You weren't meant to blend in. You were built to burn through illusions, lies, shadows, and fake narratives. You are the flame they hoped would flicker out. And instead, you became the blaze they can't contain. Your presence is the fire they can't put out. Not yesterday, not today, not ever. And listen to me, this is your era, chosen one, and nothing they say or do can dim what the universe already crowned you with. They mocked your waiting season, but that silence was your power loading. Now your rise is hitting them harder than their insults ever hit you. This is your moment to claim the life they swore you'd never reach. Stand tall, move bold, and own every inch of this era you earned through fire. And if you haven't already, press the like button and make sure you subscribe so you never miss the messages built for your rise.